Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fringe Coverage. This podcast profiles the stories, swings, and stars of the LPGA Tour. Whether you're new to women's golf or a longtime fan, hopefully this podcast helps you develop your own rooting interests in women's professional golf. And we are back for another fun episode today. Tom, I'm pretty fired up about this episode. Not only did we have a great tournament this past weekend, but it's International Crown Week, one of my favorite tournament weeks of the year because it's a little bit different. How fired up are you for this week?
This is my first experience with this tournament, so I'm looking forward to it. Seems like a pretty cool format and should be a fun one.
Yeah, man. If you go back, I think episode 10, somewhere in there, we do a little bit of a deep dive on the format of this. We'll rehash a little bit of that for familiarity today. We've got a lot to cover today, and hopefully we create some fun storylines for everyone to follow for a very unique viewing experience with actually, even though they're overseas, there are some decent windows for those of you at least in the Pacific time zone. So let's start with where it feels like we left off a week or so ago, which was another new winner. Yes, Gino did cause a quick break in the action when she got her repeat victory in Shanghai, but we just came off of the BMW Ladies Championship in Korea. Se-Young Kim, after a 5-year drought, hasn't won since 2020 Women's PGA, comes out, shoots a final round 67 to win by 4 at the BMW Ladies Championship. Closest chaser was Nasa Hataoka. Never really had a chance, quite honestly. Se-Young played great all week. And again, out at Pine Beach Golf Links in Korea. Big win for Se-Young. Her 13th title overall. Big win for her. And Tom, there's two really important things in your world. The second most important is we set the record. We set the record for the most number of individual winners in a single season at 27. We had the streak going of consecutive winners, but we are still tracking the number of unique winners, which Se-Young made 27, a pretty ridiculous stretch here of the 2025 season.
Yeah, we got a new streak.
A new streak of winners?
Yeah. The first thing that I noticed about this, like you mentioned last week, is just how beautiful this course is.
Yeah.
They were referring to it as Pebble Beach. You know, all the holes right on the water. The first clip I saw of this was Lucy Lee getting the hole-in-one and winning the car, which is just, that stuff gets me every time. I'll watch videos of that all day long.
Yep.
Not only just holes in one, because I've never had one, but also just people winning a car. And, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know where she finished in this tournament, but I bet she's leaving pretty happy. She probably made a lot, earned more than most did on this tournament. So,
let me ask you something on that. We're going to get tangential early here, but all right, you're an LPGA touring professional. How often you drive in your own damn car?
I always wonder, is this something where you can just say like, hey, I'm all set, I'll just cash out?
I'm sure there is some. I would love to see the fine print of some of this because obviously it means a lot to BMW in this case to have that. They care about the vehicle being seen on the broadcast. Sure. I've seen years where maybe they have to take the car, but they give it to somebody else. I've seen someone give it to charity. I've seen someone give it to their caddy. So I don't know if they have to accept the vehicle. But again, I just think from a lifestyle perspective, they're on the road so much, like the travel road, not the actual road, that I wonder how valuable whether they have a car or not, how much they would really want. Now they have to find a place to park it. They got to pay insurance and tags and all that kind of stuff. So you wonder for someone who travels so much if this becomes more of a burden than anything else, which, sorry, BMW, I'm totally raining on your parade that someone just won a hole-in-one at your tournament. But these are the things we talk about. These are some shots from the Fringe right here.
Does she have to pay taxes on this thing?
Yeah.
She lives in California, right? So she probably has to. So again, she might not have won a lot of money on this tour. Again, I should check to see where she actually finished, but having to pay taxes on a brand new car, that's a bummer.
Not fun. Lucy's a young up-and-comer. Her name is on the rookie list. I think from last year was a rookie season or maybe the year before. She's the real deal. She'll be around for a while, so I would expect money long-term not to be an issue for her. But yeah, one more thing you got to worry about.
So T40 is not good.
Not in a 78-player no-cut field.
Okay.
T4, she's on the bottom half of the leaderboard in that respect, which is crazy. You shoot 10 under for a tournament in your T40. It just shows you how low they're going. We're going to talk about this in a future episode. I don't even know if I've really talked about this with you. One of the hard things for PGA and LPGA to figure out is what fans want from a viewership experience. And there's a lot of people who like birdie fests of, hey, we want to see them go shoot super low. I do not fall in that camp. I want to see the golfers be tested and have the best golfers rise to the top. And I don't know that making it easy for everybody helps them separate. So if like Nelly Korda or Gino Titicun or some of the top 5 players in the world have unique skill sets, I think they kind of get washed out when they just make it easy for everyone. You can just fire at pins all day. I would love to see scores be more like 10 under is winning, not 24 under, just because I think that's when you start to see some separation. And this tournament, I think on Thursday and Friday, pretty benign conditions, but Saturday when I turned it on, it was bucking. Like they were all bundled up. It was ripping. Flag sticks were bending sideways. So like they had some proper conditions, at least on one of the days. But there's not a lot of that out on the LPGA tour, except for when they make some European swings and they catch some conditions. So I would love to see them test these women a little bit more because I think these women deserve to be put on the right scale right now. And I think right now it just looks like they're playing easy putt golf.
See, I'm a bit of a Goldilocks in that situation too, where like I don't want people shooting even par to win a tournament. But then, when I look at a leaderboard and the winner is like, 30 under, I go, well, it's probably a pretty easy course, so I don't really care that much about that.
Yeah.
A nice sweet spot of like if you can get me like the winner being 11 under or something like that, that seems pretty good to me.
I mean, to kind of connect all the dots, the one thing I would say to that though is if you have harder courses, I don't think you have 27 unique winners. I think the cream will continually rise to the top, and all of a sudden you might start getting less parity and more dominance of, wow, Nelly seems to separate when it's hard, or Gino really can flight the ball. I think you're gonna expose some people,
Yeah.
and I think there's some sensitivity to exposing the women's game because the women's game needs all the attention it can get. The last thing they need is to make it look like they can't shoot par or something like that. So I think there's probably a hard needle to thread there for the LPGA Tour and how they set their courses to put these women on the best display. But it's very interesting because you're right. There's plenty of people who say, no, I want to see him go low. And there's plenty of people who say, I want to see him get destroyed and be hacking out of, 6-inch rough. I kind of fall somewhere in the middle where I just want good golf tested. And I'm not sure that's happening week to week on the LPGA currently.
Yeah.
And then, Tom, the real news of the week are picks. You want to take a victory lap?
Well, I just kind of alluded to that. I said, so Mark T40 is not good, and you just kind of pass right on by saying, yeah, no, it's not in the top half. So I won. I finally won a week.
Yeah.
Without Gino being my big pick. Yeah, I finally won a week. So this is my number 2 win. Chisato Iwai was a T31.
One place ahead of mine.
Which won? And then you were at a T40.
Yeah, she shot 11 under and Miu shot 10 under. So you clipped me.
Yeah.
I was telling you
didn't even win a car.
I didn't. She did not. And I told you off air, I had you dead to rights on this pick after Friday. Miu was playing great. Chisato was playing fine, kind of like the rest of the field. And then I told you there were some conditions on Saturday. Those conditions got to Miss Yamashita. She got roughed up and she shot 5 over 77 to really take her out of contention for the tournament, and then really put her in contention for whether I was going to have a good pick or not. And she made a little flurry on the back nine to keep it close, but Chisato had enough of a pad to clip her by 1. So you're on the board for a head-to-head win. I don't think you get anything else for a T31, but you're on the board.
Do I get any kind of leg up on the picks this week? It's kind of a tough one.
No, but we can
format.
defer it to next week back to the next individual one. If we can throw you a bone, don't worry, we will.
I appreciate that.
Well, we alluded to it earlier. Let's get to the International Crown. This is the focus of the week. The International Crown is an 8-team event, and those teams are actually nations. So there was a qualifying process throughout the course of the year where everybody from any country are trying to qualify to get their country in as one of 7 nations. I say 7. There's 8 team entries. 7 of them are countries. The 8th is a hybrid world team that recognizes the other players whose countries otherwise didn't make it. So there's one from Oceania, one from Europe, one from North America, something like that, that they all combine and kind of make a hybrid eighth team. And this was really to kind of appease those other, to make sure some of the best names in golf make it if their countries don't. Lydia Ko being a great example of that. So it's 18. This is every other year. Last one was played in 2023. Thailand won the last one. Remember that because that will be relevant here later. And this is straight up country versus country, and it's a two-piece format. The beginning is pool play. For those of you soccer fans out here, this is the World Cup. The first set of pool play is 4 teams of pool, and they play round robin each day, a 4-ball match. So again, the U.S. team has 4 players. Those will be divided into 2 teams of 2, and they will play 2 teams of 2 from the other nation they play each day. So the first 3 days of this tournament will be U.S. plays Team B in 2 foursomes or 4-ball matches. Same thing on the next day and the next day. 4-ball means me and Tom as a team each play our ball all the way in. There are 4 balls in play the entire time. The alternative to that is called foursomes, which is also known as alternate shot, where I hit the tee shot, Tom hits the approach shot, I hit the putt, etc. They're no alternating. They're playing their own ball, all 18 holes, and each hole is worth a point, and whoever has the individual low score wins a point in favor of their team. If you tie, it's a push, you go to the next hole. So let's give you those teams now, and then we'll kind of go backwards here. So going into this event, the number 1 ranked team is United States, represented by 4 players: Angel Yin, Lauren Coughlin, Yalimi No, and Lilia Vu. Number 2 is Japan with Miyu Yamashita, Mao Saigo, Ryo Takada, and Ayaka Furue. Number 3 is Korea, which is headlined by Hyoju Kim, Hae-Dan Yu, Jin Young Ko, and Haijin Choi. Number 4 is Australia with Minji Lee, Hannah Green, Grace Kim, and Stephanie Kiriakou. Thailand is number 5. Again, number 1 player in the world is on the 5th ranked team. Gino Titakun, Chanati Wanasayan, Pajari Ananarukarn, and Jasmine Sawanapura. No, I'm not going to repeat those 4 names again. Thank you very much.
Mark.
Number 6, Sweden, Maya Stark, Madeline Sagstrom, Ingrid Lindblad, and Lynn Grant. Number 7 is the World Team, made up of Lydia Ko, Charlie Hull, Brooke Henderson, and Wei-Ling Su. And finally, China, represented by Roning Yin, Yan Lu, Weiwei Zhang, and Rujing Liu. So those are your 8 teams, 4 players each, total of 32 players playing. Again, they're not playing individuals. They are playing as teams for the entirety of the week. There will be a singles component, but it goes towards your team score. So that said, let's give you a little bit of backstory on this event. This is only the 5th playing of the International Crown. It started in 2014, and it was meant to be every other year. So they played in 2014, 16, and 18. Then COVID hit, so they took a break in 21, and they actually pushed it all the way till 2023 was the most recent iteration where they played in San Francisco. And again, that was the one that Thailand won. So this will be the 5th iteration of the International Crown. It rotates every other year at site between the United States and somewhere overseas.
Where is it in 2027?
We don't know yet. And so Tom, that is something that we need to effort to find out soon.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to be there for this. Interestingly, I mentioned those 8 teams. All of those teams were in the 2023 version of this, with the exception in 2023, there was no world team. So it was just 8 nations. That 8th nation was England. They did not make the top 7, so they're out. World team replaces them. Those other 7 all were in it in 2023. So you can tell that those nations seem to be the cream of the crop when it comes to the top 4. How did these players get on these teams? There's obviously way more than 4 players per nation. How did they get on there? As of August 4th, they looked at the Rolex rankings, and the top 4 players from each nation, their rankings were combined, and that is how they did 2 things. 1, seed the teams. So if you had the best Rolex rankings among your top 4, you're going to be the number 1 overall seed. And also, let's say you're the 5th best American as of August 4th. Sorry, you're out. You're not making the International Crown team because there were 4 people ahead of you, and it's a 4-person event. So August 4th was right at the end of the AIG Women's Open. They wanted to get as many majors in as possible. They have to start locking in teams in August because obviously it's only 2 months away, and they need to get these players prepped. They probably need to fit them for clothing. I imagine they have unique fits for each of the days. I think like Solheim Cup, Ryder Cup style. And they just need to start having some continuity so they can start figuring out who we're going to pair together, like all of the science that we talked about last time with the Solheim Cup. We talked about the world team. I think that's new this year. I think that's gonna be a very fun addition, if for no other reason than to watch Lydia Ko, Charlie Hull, Brooke Henderson, all on the same team. Probably some challenges, I would think, of how to pair them up. Charlie Hull is on record of saying she hates team play and loves playing as a single. There are no singles until you get to the semifinals. So Charlie's gonna be paired up with either Brooke, Lydia, or Wei-Ling Su. So they're going to have to pair her up with somebody, but kind of just let her cook. So before we dive into some of the seedings and stuff, Tom, any initial reactions to all of that or those teams?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So there's no team captain, correct? They
Not
work together.
officially, no.
Okay. Maybe just like a seniority thing where somebody will defer to,
It's
I
a good
mean,
question. I do wonder who ultimately makes the pairings call. Like, is it just amongst themselves they set it up, or do they kind of have a team mom, if you will, of someone who's at least being like, "Hey, how do we want to handle this?" Otherwise, I feel like
Lydia's
there's
been
get
here before. Maybe we'll defer to her when
yeah,
she
I
thinks of
guess.
the
Which I don't think
pairings.
Lydia's ever been to this because I wonder if New Zealand's ever. This is the first time there's been a world team, and I don't know if she's ever had enough country women to fulfill a four-person team in the top eight Rolex rankings.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're good call on that one.
Not
And then
sure.
who makes the pairings? And do these points matter to their overall rankings of the season?
They do not. This is strictly a money play.
Okay.
Now, I think the question there is, does the money go to their LPGA earnings for the year? It's such a limited field, I'm not sure, but they earn their way on it, so I could see it counting.
When you were talking about all this, I don't know why I really wanted to interrupt and ask you, Mark, do you have any apparel with the United States flag on it?
No, I
I
might
don't
have a
think I do
baseball
either.
shirt. I might have a baseball shirt that has like, no, it'd be like an American flag, but it has like baseball stitching on it instead, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few friends who live in other countries, and they always kind of scoff at like the 4th of July, like, wow, you guys really just like wear an American flag around? And I go, well, I don't, but apparently that's kind of what other countries think of us. So, I do find it interesting when, if we go over to, when we go over to the Solheim, are we wearing American? Are we
In
just
that
repping our
sense,
team?
heck yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
4th of July, you're not walking around the beach with an American flag tank top.
No, I'm more of a Speedo guy myself.
Ooh,
Yeah. Well, let's segue off of that quickly for listeners'
please.
sake. So we talked about the format with these eight teams. They're divided into two pools. Let's talk about those first 3 days. So it's 3 days of pool play. Again, with four teams, you're going to play a different team each of those first 3 days. Two-player teams playing four ball, their own ball. At the end of those 3 days, the top two from each pool, based on record and score and tiebreakers, things like that, will advance to the semifinals. So again, those first 3 days that they're in pool play, there is no singles. It's straight up just two four ball matches. So what will be interesting, Tom, is if they change their pairings day over day,
Hmm.
right? So for one of a couple reasons. One, maybe day one it didn't go so hot and you need to change strategy. Number two, you think when you play a different pairing, something different, it makes you do something different. I doubt that. I think you're just trying to find your best combination of golfers that are both going to birdie holes. Because in an ideal world, the best four ball pairings are the ones that have complementary, not overlapping skill sets. Like I'm really good at birdieing par threes, you're really good at birdieing par five. So conceivably, we're birdieing most of the holes, that type of a mentality. But I do believe they're able to change pairings day by day. So I'll be curious just to monitor that throughout the course of the week if there are any changes being made or if there's just personalities that are bucking that aren't working well together. Once they get to the semis, the format does change. So again, top two from each pool advance to the semifinals. The semifinals are again team versus team, so four players versus four players broken out into one foursome match. So two of those four players will be teamed up to play alternate shot. I hit a shot, you hit a shot, etc. The other two on our team are playing straight up singles matches. And then whichever teams win that semifinal matchup, that is the same format for the finals. One foursomes matchup, two singles. The semifinals and finals are on the same day. So Sunday, that final round, that's a long day. And there's also a third place match for those other two teams that advanced. So they're playing conceivably 36 holes if they go, if they don't shut them out early. And again, the scoring is if you win your match, you get a point. If you tie it, you get half a point.
Kind of like in the Solheim Cup where there's ties, then the defending champ retains. There's nothing like that here, I would imagine. you would probably just go to a playoff.
No, no, it's just straight up. It's a tie. So again, if let's say we're in pool play and I've got everyone's going to play three matches. So everyone's going to have 3 points represented in their scorecard, whether it's 3-0, 0-3, 1-1-1. At the end of that, if there are ties, there are tiebreakers for each of those scenarios of, let's say US and Thailand are tied. First off, they'll go head to head, who won. If for some reason the head to head isn't relevant or something like that, then they have a point structure of how many they scored. So if they get to 18 and it's tied after 18, that match is over and it's a half point for each side.
Great. Okay.
And then we mentioned it, besides bragging rights, teams are competing for a $2 million purse with $500,000 going to the winning team, meaning 125K a player. So that's what they're playing for. That's a pretty size compared to what these women are making week to week on the LPGA tour. For context, Yalimi No finished tied for fifth last week at the BMW, and she got $132,000. So this is the equivalent of a fifth place finish at some LPGA event. So it's a big deal for all these players to have made it. Let's briefly talk about the pools. Pool 1 or Pool A is the US, Australia, Thailand, and China. And Pool B is Japan, Korea, Sweden, and World. On paper, based on all of those names I rattled off, I think Pool B is what do they call it in the World Cup? The Pool of Death
Group
or
of
what?
death.
Group of Death. I think that's Pool B. I think anyone can come out of Pool B and win the whole thing. Here's kind of an interesting thing that I want to get your take on here. The way they decided those 1 through 8 rankings was based on those 4 players who, as of August 4th, were on the team. At the time of these rankings on August 4th, the number 1 overall team was the United States, because in addition to Lilia Vu, Lauren Coughlin, and Angel Yin, Nelly Korda was the number 2 player in the world, giving them the number 1 overall seed with an aggregate of 42 points. Again, I just combined those 4 rankings together, and that's 42 points. We've mentioned all of this was as of August 4th. Nelly Korda is no longer playing. She had to back out due to injury. So they now come in and add the next best US player as of August 4th, not as of today. If it was today, it'd be Andrea Lee, by the way. But as of August 4th, Yalimi No was the next best, and she was 24th. If you were to take out Nelly's number 2 ranking and add Yalimi's, the US would have been the 3 seed in all of this. So, first off, they're not the number 1 seed. Second off, that changes which pool they're in. And I just said the group of death is Pool B. So not only did Nelly's points get them the 1 seed, it kept them out of a very tough draw where they would have it would have reshuffled the entire deck, but they would have had the tougher of the 2 pools. So I don't want to call shenanigans or any shystiness or anything nefarious happening here. But Tom, I am curious just how in general that strikes you.
I have a lot of thoughts, believe it or not. Well,
Let's
number
hear it.
one, Nelly has played since then, right? So it's not like she announced her injury on August 5th and they
Correct.
completely, gamed the system. So that part I'm not too upset about. I do think it's interesting that they lock it in so early. Like maybe in the future, I'm trying to fix the tournament. Maybe you lock in the 8 teams and then don't lock in the seedings until later on once you find out who the participants are.
The first thing they did was announce who the teams were in July. And then in August is when they locked in. So they said, these are the nations that are going to be in. Because again, those nations need notice to be able to be ready for the international crown. And the nations that don't make it need notice as well. So that happened in July. And then August is when they locked in the seedings. To your point, can they wait longer? I'm sure there's probably some behind the scenes things we don't recognize that need to be decided early based on seeding, because you need to know who the groups are, who they're going to play. But man, from a fan perspective, I don't know. Again, I don't think US team did anything wrong here, but they're just heavily benefiting from the timing of all of this.
Yeah, I have a hard time figuring out why they couldn't lock in the 8 and then just figure out the seedings later. But like you said, there's probably reasons here or there. You know what strikes me, what comes to mind? I'm going to go way back here to 2017. I don't know if you remember NFL playoffs. Carson Wentz, 14-2 Eagles. They're on fire. He's going to win the MVP. And he tears his ACL and he's
Oh yeah.
out for the season. And so they were the number one seed in the NFC, and then they brought on some guy named Nick Foles to come over and take his spot. And everyone's like, oh, well, this team sucks now without their MVP player. And guess what? They won the Super Bowl. So it would be interesting to see if everyone else can just kind of step up. And yes, Nelly is kind of what brought them to the number one seed,
Yeah.
but the other three are no slouches. So, they could still show out and have a great tournament.
To your point, like you made the dance, like you still got to win the damn thing. Like you got to go do it now, right? There's 8 teams. You're going to have to play everyone. And it's not like this got them the 8 seed and they otherwise wouldn't have been in. I
Yeah.
think that might have been a tougher look because like now a nation didn't make it. I think that maybe that's where they lucked out. And look, the U.S. is always going to be in this as long as it's an 18 thing, just because they do have an established run of top 50, 100 players in the world that are going to earn their way onto this team. I'm very excited that Yalimi's on this team. Yalimi's playing good golf. I just mentioned she finished T5 last week. Honestly, I think when you got a big dog, this has always been the case on the PGA side with the Tiger Woodses and Phil Mickelsons of the world. And this was even a storyline at the Solheim Cup is when you got the big dogs like Nelly, it's kind of hard to figure out who to pair with them because they suck up so much oxygen, no fault of their own, just really good golfers that you figure out, well, how do we make sure we get the best out of Nelly and her partner? I think there's a lot of pressure on the partner to play well when you're playing with someone of the Gino or Nelly's caliber. With Yalimi coming in, it's kind of a of golf. Like, look, Angel, Lauren, Yalimi, Lilia are all established really good golfers, but they don't necessarily have the pressure that Nelly does every time she tees it up. So I wonder if that frees them up a little bit in a way they wouldn't have even realized had they still had Nelly on the team. Let's talk. I mentioned there's some dream matchups out there. With Nelly out, we do lose the potential for Nelly versus Gino, either in a 4-ball matchup or a singles matchup. China versus Thailand means Gino and her best friend Ronnie Yin are going to have to play each other. I like that potentially, or unless they split them up into 2 different 4-ball matches. Historical context here from the Solheim Cup. The Sweden team ain't messing around. And Maya Stark and Lynn Grant are very good friends. And I would be shocked if they are not paired together, especially with Ingrid Lindblad and Madeline Sackstrom as the other two. They all know each other very well, but those two are very good friends. They're just fun. So just get ready to enjoy watching Maya and Lynn tee it up. And then the world team, I just want to watch Charlie play. It's funny. Everyone will get excited to watch her play singles golf because that's what she enjoys. I kind of want to watch her play team golf. And then just with that world team in general, how they do the pairings, right? Like these 4 women aren't used to playing with each other. They're not from the same home country. There's no familiarity there. It's kind of like the men's President's Cup team where they're bringing up people from Asia and Australia and just trying to cobble something together. They're kind of asking a lot of these 4 women over the course of those 3 days of pool play to kind of band together when otherwise they wouldn't have even hung out.
Right. They don't share that same national camaraderie, and that will be interesting, especially because, Charlie will put on a brave face and say, I'm here for the team, whatever's best for the team. But I mean, you've been very vocal about how you don't like team games. So
Yeah.
no matter what you
And
say, we all in the back of our head go, yeah, but she's not enjoying this. We know
totally.
that.
And then once we get out of pool play, some opposite sides of the aisle here of people that can't play each other to the semis. This is where singles come in. So now I'm excited for Charlie. Like, there's no way they get to singles and they don't put Charlie into singles. So we're going to see her get to do her thing there if she makes her way out of the pool play. And then Lauren Coughlin and Maya Stark, again, from the U.S. and Sweden, they played each other in the Solheim. Lauren clipped Maya in that one. So I would love to see that rematch. Those are 2 of my more favorite golfers to watch. So I would love for them to run that one back. So just some fun things to watch if you're looking for storylines. If you're helicoptering in for 1 week a year to watch this, watch the world team. I think that will be fascinating. It's brand new to this event. Watch the Sweden team. If you're looking for fun, watch the Australian team. Those are the 4 closest friends of any of these, probably followed closely by Sweden. With that, we are going to do 2 sets of picks here. The first is we're each going to pick the 4 teams that are going to advance out of pool play. So 2 from pool A, 2 from pool B. And then just so everybody knows, once that pool play happens, they're going to pit the number 1 team out of pool A against the number 2 team from pool B. So Tom and I won't know that until it happens. So our predictions are going to be the 4 teams that advance out of pool play, and then we're both going to pick a winner. Tell you what, why don't you say who you're picking out of pool A, and then I'll follow suit, and then I'll lead with pool B.
Pool A, I'm taking Australia to win the pool,
Okay.
followed closely by USA.
I got the exact same thing, man,
In that order,
in that order.
I kind of like that. That I'm at least on your level as far as the picks go. All right, let me hear your pool B.
Pool B, we're going to go Japan and Sweden.
I went Japan in the world just because I really want to see more of Charlie. And I
Oh,
think something like that where they're just four completely different entities banding together. You got to see if they're able to do it.
yeah.
A while ago they had this something. I'm not going to bore you with more hockey stuff like I always do every week, where they had all these young players come out and they made a team North America of all these young. They
Mm.
called them the young guns. Stuff like that I find so fun.
I do think it'll be the most fun thing to root for this week is the world team.
What flag do they wear? Is it just like a? Yeah, I haven't looked at the
I
logos
don't
very
know.
much.
They'll probably just have a world logo, kind of like the President's Cup. Do they have a shield of some kind?
Okay, all right.
Because most of all of their logos are crowns with their nation's colors in it. So I think they just have a generic. You know what I bet you it is? If you look closely, I bet you their colors represent all four of the nations represented within their world
You're
team.
probably right. Speaking
Okay.
of crowns, I don't know if you
Yes.
noticed, they listen to us.
Well,
Probably.
I think we listen to them. Yes, they do give crowns to
They
their
give
winners.
crowns. Yeah, I mean, there's
They're
pictures of
sick.
them and the trophy is top notch.
Agreed. Agreed.
Fantastic trophy.
Now, Tom, who's your winner?
When Team World wins this, who keeps the
Oh,
trophy? No, no, I don't have Team World winning. It was just a question. I got Australia taking it.
okay. For content purposes, I'm going to change my vote because I had Australia as well. It will be very boring for us to have all of the same picks. And Australia will be a very fun team to root to win. Again, like I said, they're the four close knit, and Minji is a dog in these things. So, since you're taking Australia, and I'm such a gentleman, we're gonna switch it up. And I'm gonna go with Sweden. I I,
I would have
I
switched my pick, but I won the picks last week, so this is me. This is me
flexing.
flexing on you, pretty much.
Yeah. So are we giving a crown to the winner?
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. This is in your camp now. Squarely, you decide on how this works.
I'm gonna I'm
Okay.
gonna say that this pick is worth a lot.
Okay, perfect. Does that
You
make you
know when
feel
you're playing
better?
one-on-one with somebody, they just go, "Hey, next point wins," and you go, "Wait, but I'm up by 10. Why would I agree to them?" They go, "Yeah, next point wins." So I'm doing that.
Okay,
This
perfect.
one is worth 30 points.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. Okay, now, most importantly, how can you watch this? I mentioned this is in Korea, so it is some unique time watching windows. Wednesday through Friday, or I'm saying Wednesday through Friday only because it's in Korea. For us, it will be Wednesday through Friday. It's Thursday through Saturday in Korea. So Wednesday night Pacific time, 7 p.m. to midnight is those first 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evening. You get to watch each of the pool play days. I kind of like that. After dinner, girls go to bed. I've got a few hours of watching this. I don't have to stay up till 2 a.m. I may not make it till midnight, but I'll watch a decent amount of golf
Yeah.
because there's not that many golf balls in the air when there's only this many teams playing pool play. So that's Wednesday through Friday. Then once we get to Saturday, there's another 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. window. I think maybe there's a bit of a break and then they come back for the finals because I mentioned the semis and the finals are the same day. I don't know what they're doing to that hour and a half break, but so semifinals 4:30 to 7:30 break and then 9 to 1 on all of that will be on Golf Channel.
So
So,
a full day of youth sports in the morning, college
oof,
football all day, and then at night watching some Asian golf. That's fantastic.
there you go. That's a full day right there. You
Come on
got
over,
it?
Mark. Let's make a thing out of this. Are we at the end of our episode where we could start talking nonsense?
Sure, man. You want to huck some takes? Go for it. What do you
This
got?
past weekend was my son's 10th birthday. So it was non-stop birthday stuff. We did breakfast on on Friday for him. We did dinner on Friday. He had soccer, she had soccer. We went out to lunch with the grandparents on Saturday, a kickball game with his baseball team, Dave and Buster's with his friends. It's nonstop, man. I'm glad we're done.
I,
Again, like I tell you, this is the podcast is like a reset on my week. I just go, oh yeah, cool. I get to do
I'm
a
here for
podcast
you,
with my
man.
buddy Mark.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate it.
Well, we
I
got
guess
some really good
effect on the stock price.
feedback over the weekend. I was with a lot of friends who have been listening and got some good feedback. So we've got some ideas for some future episodes, including bringing someone we know really well who has spent some time on mini tours, talk a little bit more about behind the scenes of what life is like on some of those smaller tours and how to make it and how to manage finances because they're not making a lot of money. And we're still efforting to get a couple fun guests here over the next few months. So know that more interviews are coming, especially when the Asian swing is done, when a lot of the players and some of the TV personalities are making their way back to the States. We hope to have some stuff in the off season, but we kind of got a good roadmap of what's to come. So stay tuned for what we have to come. We've got some exciting stuff coming.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Like you said, I mean, eventually we're going to run out of the recaps and previews, so we're kind of trying to find some more fun things to do, some fun games, some fun segments, and I got some in the hopper.
If you have suggestions for players you want us to do some deep dives on, it's been a minute since we've done one of those. Let us know. We'll obviously be recapping the International Crown and teeing up the next set of Asian Swing events next week. But if there's anything else you want us to riff on, or if you want Tom to talk more about his kid's birthday schedule, we're happy to add it to the next
You're
podcast
a jerk.
episode.
You're a
Send an
jerk.
email to fringecoverage@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Fringe Coverage Pod. Follow us on X at Fringe Coverage X. And Tom, I wouldn't dare say your outro. So with your best announcer voice, I want to hear you play us out.
Whether you're approaching from the fairway or the rough, we got you covered inside the fringe.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.